to Weddings on a Dime. I am so excited to have you here and to share with you some tips on how to save money on your big day. Now, today's episode is how my husband and I were able to have our wedding in under $4,000. Yes, that's right, you can do it. If you're really just wanting to save money and go into marriage debt-free, this is the way to go. You can still have a beautiful wedding and your dream wedding, but not spend a lot of money. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the things that we did to save money for our big day. So let's go ahead and get started. So we did a lot of things to save money on our big day. We only had 3 months to plan our wedding, so everything was pretty rushed, but it was also relaxed because we were having a small wedding. We didn't really have a whole lot that we needed to do. So the first thing that I got for my wedding was my wedding dress. I got it maybe a week or so after we got engaged. I went looking immediately. Well, I had been looking for dresses before I got engaged even. So if you know that you're going to get engaged and you know that there's sales going on at certain stores, it wouldn't hurt to go and try them on and see what style you like, and that way you'll be prepared once you actually are looking for a wedding dress. Go look at sales, see what's going on. I found my dress on sale at David's Bridal, and it was already a cheaper dress. Not too I mean, it was simple, but very elegant as well. And I loved it. I didn't need anything big. I loved the fitted dress, and this one, it wasn't very fitted as most fitted dresses are, but it hugged around my body like I wanted, and it was lace, which is what I wanted as well. It had a beautiful back lace. Oh, it was so pretty. So you can still find your dream wedding dress, but without spending a lot. So I was able to get my wedding dress for under $600. And with the alterations, I think that was probably another $200. So in all, I probably spent about $800 on my wedding dress, which isn't very much because most dresses are above $1,000. They could be thousands of dollars, and plus alterations, which make them a lot more. So that was one way that we saved money. The dress is a big purchase in the wedding. It's a big part of it, and you wanted that to be special. So for the cake, that's another thing that can kind of cost a lot. We didn't want to spend a lot, and so we went to a local bakery, got a smaller cake. It wouldn't be big enough to feed everyone, but we also made cookies. My mother and I baked them a month in advance and froze them so that they're ready. And cookies are really cheap to make. We already had a lot of the ingredients, so that was another thing that we did to help save money. And also, to save money on the cake, I decided I would decorate it myself with our leftover flowers. So if you would like to do that as well, it's really easy to decorate the white wedding cake because it can be very elegant looking, just white with maybe just one topper on top. If you found a topper on sale at a craft store, that could be a good way of getting your cake topper. All right, so moving on to the reception. To save money, we decided not to have a meal. We had our wedding about mid-afternoon. I think it was 1 o'clock. So I guess early afternoon, right after lunch. That way we wouldn't have to pay for a meal for everyone. All we had was a popcorn bar, which is super cheap to do. Popcorn's very cheap. And then an ice cream bar because I love ice cream. My husband loved popcorn. So if there's foods that you and your husband really love, you can incorporate that into the reception and not have a full meal. Just have some snack foods and some appetizers so that your guests have something to eat, but it's not a whole lot. They don't need a full meal because they'll have just eaten lunch. So that's another big expense, is having a reception meal. So if you cut that out and just have a few snacks or appetizers or one each, you and your husband, one food that you really like or drink that you really like, then that can help the cost go way down. So for bridesmaids and groomsmen, we had all of them get their own clothes. We weren't too picky. We just told them what colors they should wear for pants for the groomsmen, what shirt to have, and most of them already had the shoes, the shirt, and the pants that were in the correct color, so that made it really easy. All we did as a gift to our groomsmen was buy them a tie that was in our wedding colors, so it would all match. So very simple, very easy. For bridesmaids, they each bought their own dress. Each of the bridesmaids' dresses were about $30, so not a whole lot. And they each found their own shoes. Some of them already had shoes that matched on hand. I didn't really have a preference. I didn't care if they matched perfectly. They were all the same color shoe, and that was good enough for me. I wasn't a very picky bride. I would rather them spend less, and it goes together, than having them match perfectly and have them spend more money. All right, so the flowers can be another big expense for your wedding. Some people might go with getting fake flowers because they think that's cheaper, but in my experience, the fake flowers can really add up. We checked sales even at craft stores, and they're just really expensive. So we went to a bunch of different places and were able to get our flowers bulk from Kroger, of all places. Never would have thought I would have gotten my wedding flowers from Kroger, but I know there's several other several other stores that sell flowers in bulk that you can get them. We made all of our centerpieces for the tables with the flowers. We made my bouquet and my bridesmaids' bouquets out of those flowers. And we also made a cake topper for our cake out of our real flowers, not the fake ones. So we saved a lot of money. It was probably just a couple $100 to get bulk flowers, and we had plenty to use for table centerpieces, bouquets, boutonnieres for the men, the groomsmen. So we had plenty to go around. We tried to keep things as simple as we could decoration-wise for our wedding. We had our wedding at a free venue, so that really helped our costs go down. We really wanted some place that was pretty easy, accessible, and also free. And we were able to get that. We had our wedding at a church that they let us do it there for free as long as we cleaned everything up. And so make sure you set a crew if you have it at a free place to make sure everything's better than how you found it. We had it indoors for all of it because the weather wasn't great. I would have liked to have done some stuff outside if it had been better, which we could have done, but because of the weather, we just decided to keep everything inside. So decorations were very simple. My dad's friend built an arbor for us out of used wood, so that was free. As the months went on before our wedding, I would go to craft stores during their sales, and we got lots of different wedding accessories to decorate the aisles, but we kept it very simple. My mother-in-law had a bunch of candles she borrowed from someone, so we used those down the aisle. That was free. Our arbor was free. We used some cloth that we got on sale at a craft store to go over the arbor, put just a few flowers on each side, and we used some extra tulle fabric to run down the aisle to decorate the pews, and that was it. It was very simple for the ceremony. And for decorations in the reception, we found a few pom-poms that we had collected, paper pom-poms that are easy, you can get from Hobby Lobby. We got a bunch of those throughout the sales that we had been to, and we hung those from the ceiling in a few places to make it look pretty. We had a bunch of lights that friends had given us, so we decorated with white Christmas lights around the reception hall. And that's about it, other than having some flower centerpieces that we made. It was very simple but elegant as well. And a friend loaned us tablecloths that we used, white tablecloths for each of the tables, to make it look a little bit more like a wedding. So just see what you can borrow from friends and family. We had several friends who got married before us, and they loaned us all their decorations, a cake stand that was pretty, some lights to go around the cake, and also some fake greenery that we were able to decorate the serving tables with. So if you have friends who've got married before, they have a closet full of decorations, check with those friends and see what they have that you can borrow for free. And last but not least, the photographer. That can be a very big expense for a wedding. So to save money, we checked out a lot of different places, checked with friends, and we finally found a friend who was much lower than most photographers because they were pretty new. So we decided to go with her because she was much less expensive than some of the other people that we found. And so we decided to go with her, and she was with us the whole day, and she was able to take lots of pictures that we were able to get for that lower price. And for our videographer, he was a friend, and he cut the price down much lower than what he normally does weddings for. I mean, it was a very professional video, but we were able to get it at a much more discounted rate. So maybe see if you have any friends who do videographer, or find maybe a college student. So many people are great at doing that kind of thing, but make sure that you have a sample from them of what their work is, because you want to make sure that they know what they're doing. Don't just find someone who doesn't know what they're doing. They don't know how to use their camera. Make sure you have samples and meet with them beforehand to find out that they know that what they're doing. Maybe even have them do a sample of you that they can do together with you before your wedding to see how it turns out and see if it's what you would want. The pictures are going to be a very important part of your wedding, so that's one thing I would put, that we probably put a lot of our budget toward for our wedding, was the pictures, because that's really important, because that's something you're going to look back on in years to come, and you want them to be excellent quality when you look back on them. Alright guys, so that's all I have for you on how we had our wedding for under $4,000. You can too. You could probably even go cheaper than that. But if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and if you could, it would really help me out a lot if you would please subscribe and let me know of any other videos that you'd like to see in the future. Bye guys!